Today I want to have a bit of a chat about something that can be very risky if it's not done properly, using algicides in your pond. But first, if you don't already know me, my name is Kev, and my aim is to help people build and maintain a pond without spending a fortune. If that sounds like something that interests you, you might like to subscribe and check out my website ozponds.com. Now, before we get into the dangers, I want to talk about why algae isn't always the enemy. In fact, algae plays a really important role in healthy aquatic ecosystems. It processes excess nutrients in the water, which helps prevent other water quality problems. It's a natural food source for lots of creatures, from tiny microscopic life right through to some fish. And during the day, algae actually adds oxygen to the water through photosynthesis. But here's the catch. If you kill all the algae in your pond at once, especially with a strong chemical, it can cause a sudden drop in oxygen levels. That's because when algae dies, it starts to decompose, and that process uses up oxygen. This can be really dangerous for your fish and for your biological filter, which relies on oxygen to keep processing waste and keeping your fish safe. Some algicides also contain copper, and copper can be extremely harmful to animals with exoskeletons. Things like shrimp, yabbies, freshwater mussels, and even tiny critters like copepods. And these little guys are incredibly valuable in a pond. Not only do they help keep things clean by eating algae themselves, but they also form part of the natural food chain for your fish. Speaking of fish, certain species, especially carp family members like koi and goldfish, will happily eat algae. They're omnivores, so they enjoy a mix of meat and plant matter, and algae can actually provide them with good clean carbs and roughage in their diet. Now, if you do have an algae problem, there are gentler ways to deal with it. Things like barley straw or barley straw extract, which breaks down slowly and helps prevent algae growth. Or then you have hydrogen peroxide treatments. Hydrogen peroxide actually adds oxygen to the water as it breaks down, which can be much safer if used correctly. Another option is sodium bicarbonate, which I've made videos on before. It's a great spot treatment for treating stubborn algae on waterfalls and rocks. Whatever method you choose, make sure your pond has good oxygen levels. You can check this with a dissolved oxygen test kit or by keeping an eye on fish behaviour. If they're gasping at the surface or hanging near waterfalls and returns, it could be a sign oxygen is low. And if in doubt, treat your pond in sections rather than doing the whole thing at once. That way you reduce the risk of a big oxygen crash. Personally, I prefer an ecosystem approach. I'm happy to have some algae in the pond. In fact, at certain times of year, algae can become the main filter. During cold months, when bacteria and plants slow down, algae can still process nutrients and keep the water balanced. My whole philosophy is about creating a complete ecosystem, sensible stocking of fish, using beneficial organisms, and working with nature to filter water. This system's been used all over the world, and if you want to learn more about it, go check out ozponds.com. So in short, algae isn't always bad, algicides aren't always good, and sometimes the best thing you can do is create the right balance so nature does the hard work for you. So that's it for today. I hope this was helpful, and if it was, feel free to tickle the thumbs up button. Thanks for watching. See ya.